All right. I think I'm streaming now. Hello. Okay. All right, gonna get started here. Let's see. Let me get some chat going. All right. This is unannounced, so we'll see if anybody shows up. I will just throw this out there into the world and see if anybody cares. Let's see. So I'm Nathan, Advanced Age Role Playing Gamers Podcast. I'm a co-host and editor for the show. If you haven't already talked to us before, so I'm in Reaper. And I'm close to being done. But not quite. So I'm doing kind of a last pass to check. I fixed a couple areas where Malcolm's audio dropped out and stuff like that. Also, spotting for areas where I can add some sound effects to make things a bit more fun. See how that goes. But it's really mostly just this is my last pass before I say, okay, I'm done with dialogue editing. Now I can start now I can start adding sound effects and music and all that stuff. But if people have questions, they want to see what my vocal chains look like and what tools I use for sound effects, things like that. Feel free to ask those questions. All right. So I'm just posting this a couple places just to see if anybody's so inclined to stop by. All right. Now to get to work. All right. So I am about. So I use. So if you look at all this is basically the first 20 episodes of the show here. I'm on episode 4. All these colored regions you see up top here mean something. Yellow is where we're adding music. Green is for sound effects and ambience. Red is for cuts. Orange is for people over talking, or if there's something like a Malcolm's audio dropout. So that's probably I'm going to have to find something there to fix that with. But yeah, so let's listen and see how we're doing so far.
On the second day, in like the fields before you get to are going to be just basically wild overgrown and open fields, you will encounter larger wildlife. There'll be like, groups of deer, and you occasionally have evidence of foxes and small, there's small rodents also running around. A large plethora of birds, varying from size to small sparrows to as large as maybe some wild turkeys you've seen running through.
Wild turkey.
Nothing of the, as far as like the larger elk and so forth, probably once you reach the forest, you'll encounter things bigger than that. But
so
decent,
how from this far out, how visible is the forest? So
decent,
how from this far out, how visible is the forest? Is it like
that? But decent,
And just tighten that up a tiny bit there.
Decent,
From this far out, how visible is the forest? Is it like what's this ironwood or iron forest look like from afar?
From afar, it's almost like you can see the green. Kind of like there's a series of hills that come first. You have a small, some small forest. Series of hills that come first. You have a small forest first. You have a small.
So just clean that up a little bit there.
Hills that come first. You have a small, some small forest here opens up into fields, and you can see hills going up, and then you can see the forest in the distance beyond that. It seems to rise up. Obviously,
So there's this little thing. I don't know what it is. Some sort of glitch.
it seems to rise. It seems to rise up. It seems to rise.
It's like there's like sounds like an audio fart to me. So let's see if I can reduce that a little bit.
It seems to rise up. It seems to rise up. It seems to rise up. Obviously, a large area coming up ahead, but it seems to be covering both hills as well as various valleys. In at least the beginning of the second day. Seems to be covering both hills as well as various valleys. In at least the beginning of the second day. Covering both hills. At least the beginning of the second day.
Yeah, there it is again.
Second day. Day. The second day. By the midday.
All right, so it's a little. Yeah, it's just a second. So that's
by the midday.
And yes, I don't always take out all the because, it's that's how people talk, and sometimes listeners need a little bit of a break from listening.
By the midday, you mostly just have basically just sort of like maybe hunters trails and so forth going through there, but it is a hilly country. But
see, I don't know what that is.
But it is a hilly country.
This is like in 3 years of doing this. This audio has never done this before. This is a new thing.
But it is a hilly country. But it is a hilly country. But you do begin to see the forest proper in the distance. But also you see a series of what appears to be hills and mounds, which do not particularly look natural as far as you're concerned, Siggy, or I guess even I'm assuming that even Quiverwing would notice, or I guess even I guess even Quiverwing would notice as well that the mounds you're seeing don't seem to be a normal formation as far as a normal sort of natural formation, and the grass and the forest does not seem to encroach upon all of that area. And then you begin to see menhirs rising up as you guys crest the hill and can see down into a small sort of valley of what appears to be burial mounds and standing stones. Though you were told you shouldn't reach this area you shouldn't reach the Ritter Mound for at least another full day. Another half day, excuse me. And there are paths.
Get rid of that.
Excuse me. And there are paths, not really full roads, but some dirt roads. And you do see coming along the path the first people you've seen since yesterday afternoon. It appears to be two old women pushing a wheelbarrow of some sort filled with something.
What is that? It's annoying.
Something. But that is the only people you've seen in the world.
Let me just close that gap a little bit.
Pushing a wheelbarrow of some sort filled with something. But that is the only people you've seen in the world.
Elf lady, do we take your things?
All right, let me just get rid of that. Just duplicate.
People you've seen in the wild.
Clearly, though, these old people pushing a cart seem very out of place.
They do seem out of place.
Elf lady, do we take your things?
They do seem out of place.
Elf lady, do we take your things?
They do seem.
Elf lady, do we take your things?
They do seem out of place.
No, we don't take their things. You walk up to them, get off the path and edge off in the tree line.
Take your things?
No, we don't take their things. You walk up to them, get off the path and edge off in the tree line.
Okay. Yeah, I'll walk up to them.
I'll cover them from an elevated position.
I'll prepare myself.
Okay.
I
So,
kind of
just to give you a
forward and,
describe, I mean, the road sort of moves between the small little high. Okay. So, just to give you a describe, I mean, the road sort of moves between the small little little rising hills. Or mountains. You can probably take the top of one of those mountains. The grass is not particularly high on them, but you could maybe crawl if you want to not be seen, or just take the high position if you want to you don't care about that. Siggy, you're easily able to slip back behind the hills and find a way to get to them and get closer and get a spot or get a closer look. There's also, like I said, large standing stones, which are here and there. They're toppled or standing that you can possibly move through as well. Guys, I'm sorry.
Can I see if there's?
Guys, I'm sorry.
Can I see if there's anything like hidden or like the spot hidden only work for like items or like people? Is that like observation or am I wrong?
Spot hidden is usually for hidden items.
Right. Forget that then. If that doesn't. Right. Forget that then. If that doesn't apply.
Yeah, I was going to look for any sign that there might be others around them, accompanying them. If this is another sort of trap.
Okay, so why don't you?
I'll make a shot at it too.
That
Was
case,
it awareness?
For that, why don't you give me a spot hidden?
I'll make a shot at it too.
That
Was
case,
it awareness?
For that, why don't you give me a spot hidden on that one?
Okay.
Just do that. That's what we'll go with that. Okay.
Ooh,
I
That's
rolled
a
a
2.
Whoops. Yes, Chris's dice roll. I'm gonna reduce the volume of that a bit.
That's what we'll do. We'll go with that. Okay.
That's a 2.
I rolled a 1, which is a dragon.
That is
a dragon.
right.
It's a dragon.
I rolled a dragon.
Oh, check it off
So-
on your sheet.
I will. 1 dragon. I will.
Dragon.
So 1 and a 2.
So basically,
We know all.
so one thing, things you notice, you. So basically,
We know all.
1 and a 2. Two.
We know all.
so one thing, things you notice, you two, who are so keen-eyed and some keener than others, is that Siggy, you notice the very fact is they appear to be completely unconcerned about seeing the party on the road coming towards them, with the exception that one appears to be sort of getting giddy and the other one seems to be not getting very happy about the situation. They are, I mean, as far as their clothing, they appear to be wearing some very basic traveling clothes, though they seem to have a large number of sort of like pouches and in addition to that seem to have like, like one has like, well, they supposed to have like sort of pouches in a slung bag and the barrel contains, well, things, turnips in it. Their shoes seem to be, and though they're worn, they seem to be well made. But they do not appear to be armored. And the only thing they seemed armed with that you can tell looks like a dining knife on one of them that you can see. The other one, in place of it, seems to have a collection of teacups.
Does their attire appear to be like common to the attire of the folks from Outskirt, or?
In some ways, it's somewhat similar, but there are distinct differences. Definitely the cut of the thing is definitely probably a higher quality as far as like it's.
So, you notice I have this little orange region up here that says fix. Um, so, there, like I said, Malcolm had some dropouts. I marked these in an earlier pass. So this top track I hear, this top track I have here that's dark right now. That means it's muted. So I'm going to unmute that. I'm going to solo it. And it's not going to line up completely with what's down here, but I should be able to find this section and grab the missing piece of audio from there if I need it. I might not need it. So, but this is basically something I record as a backup when I'm recording my dialogue during the show. I use the loop back feature in my Audient ID14 audio interface to record my voice in one track and everybody else from the live recording on a separate track, all mixed in together. So let's listen to that.
Common to the attire.
In some ways, it's somewhat similar, but there are distinct differences. Like the definitely the cut of their clothing is definitely probably a. In some ways, it's somewhat similar.
All right, let's see here.
In some ways, it's somewhat similar, but there are distinct differences. Like the definitely the cut of thing is definitely probably a higher quality as far as like definitely probably a definitely the cut of thing is definitely probably a.
Yeah.
Definitely the cut of their clothing is definitely probably a.
So if I start there.
Definitely the cut of their clothing is definitely probably a higher quality as far as like.
All right, so I'm just going to take that whole section, mute that again. I'm going to just move that down here, unsolo that, and see what I can.
Definitely the cut of their clothing is.
Yeah, that's what it is right there.
Cut of thing is their clothing is. Cut of thing is. Cut of their clothing.
All right, let's see.
Definitely the cut of their clothing. Higher quality as far as.
All right. So get rid of that. I'm going to move that up here.
Like definitely the cut of their clothing is definitely probably a higher quality as far as.
All right, so it's going to sound a little bit different. So I'm going to take this over into RX as a copy. And I'm not sure. Yeah, no, you can't see it. So in RX, I should have shared the screen instead of the window, but in RX, I'm going to raise the level on that to match where the other stuff is. So I'm going to come back over here. You see that's before.
Like definitely the cut of their is like the definitely the cut of their clothing is definitely probably a higher quality.
All right, I'm also going to do a little bit of noise reduction on it because I can hear it definitely sounds a lot different. It's not going to sound great because I'm not going to spend like 1 billion hours fucking around with it, but I'm going to just get it basically there. And right again. All right.
difference is like the definitely the cut of their clothing is definitely probably a higher quality. Is
Yeah, see. So, one thing I suspect happened is that Malcolm may have. Almost goes. So, if you hold down the Alt key with Reaper, you can stretch files a little bit. So, I'm just going to stretch this a little bit. And. Oops.
the cut of their clothing is definitely probably a higher quality as far as
Yeah, because there's two different mics going on here, so that's one of the reasons why there's a little bit of difference there too.
the clothing is definitely probably a higher quality as far as like it's
Because sometimes what happens is the recording you're using in whatever streaming software your video conferencing software you're using is using one mic, and the local recording is using a different mic. And this happens to us. I was hoping it would go
definitely
away.
probably a higher
When we
quality is
all switched to using Reaper because Reaper is a little bit finicky about when you change your interfaces. But apparently it's only when you're using audio interfaces like that use ASIO drivers. If you have that unplugged accidentally, it'll yell at you until you plug it back in. But that didn't happen here. But anyway, it's fine.
a higher quality as far as like it's rugged, but obviously made, but just not obviously made by a local person. Is the thing.
Is this
Are they close? I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
Good. This might be
And Sean,
Terror on the Turnip King we're coming upon.
now, Sean, the one thing you notice is that you almost didn't spot it. It was like it was almost. It's kind of weird that you didn't spot it before, but suddenly you actually realize that moving underneath the cart and nearby there appears to be a small black dog with oddly purple eyes.
Oh, well, I will say, be mindful of the dog. It has purple eyes. God, I can't get my voice right. Anyway, and but yes, and they appear harmless, however.
And you pick up the distinct smell of cinnamon and sandalwood.
Now,
Cinnamon and
are we close enough?
harmless, however.
And you pick up the distinct smell of cinnamon and sandalwood.
Now,
Cinnamon and
are we close enough
sandalwood.
to hear that? Are they speaking to each other or no?
They're chattering one another, and yes, because of your good rolls, you do hear there is like obviously one of them is very excited, like I think they're adventurers. They're coming this way. The other one goes, of course, they are always coming this way.
I will go forward.
But as I understand, the rest of the party was on the road and was moving forward, and as I understand, the rest of the party was on the road and was moving forward, and Reginald, AKA Brains, you go loping up there first.
Yeah, and I kind of I'm like smiling with all my teeth and like waving, trying to look as like non-threatening as I can.
I'm in the grass going, don't sniff the butts, don't sniff the butts, don't sniff the butts.
Like non-threatening as I can.
I'm in the grass going, don't sniff the butts, don't sniff the butts, don't sniff the butts.
This is gonna go
There's one
poorly.
there's one that's kind of plump and one that's rather thinly built of the older women. The plump one waves emphatically and says, "Hello, and what is your name? What are you going out here in the woods, and why are you out here?"
I was going to ask you the same question. Yeah, I'm just going to clean it up a tiny bit.
Name. What are you going out here in the woods, and why are you out here?
I was going to ask you the same question. This seems to be not the best kind of place for two lovely human ladies.
She laughs, and the other one just goes, "Simplicity, don't listen to his flattery. We're perfectly fine if we mind our own business and stay to the road."
We were wondering, were you selling any wares? Oh, my friends call me Brains because I am the brains of the group.
I don't call him that. Who calls him that?
Well, that's very well. She goes, "Well, that's a great name."
I don't call him that. Who calls him that?
Well, that's very well. She goes, "Well, that's a great name." Well, pleasure to. That's very well. She goes, "Well, that's a great name." Well, That's very well. She goes, well, that's a great name.
All right. Dee.
She goes, well, that's a great.
Wasn't that?
She goes, well, that's a great name. Well, pleasure to meet you, Brains. I'm Felicity Weird. And this is my best friend. Well, pleasure to meet you, Brains. I'm Felicity Weird. And this is my best friend. Well, I guess one of my friends. Not the best is, well, this is Perpetua Gristle. The other one just sort of stares at you with disapproving and judging.
Malcolm has like the best NPC character names. They're just so ridiculous.
Disapproving and judging.
Those are very interesting human. Those are very interesting human names. I like them.
Well, thank you.
Did you?
I don't really have any. Well, we have turnips. To which the other one goes, we were paid in turnips.
No,
We can still sell
meat?
them.
No fresh meat.
Oh, no, dear. The farm didn't have them. They're out here in the wilderness, way out in the middle of nowhere.
Well,
This is all they offered us for our services.
There's a farm nearby.
Yes. Well, you want to avoid the burial mounds, but you just go south. But the burial mounds has the easiest roads to get through.
What is the
The
farmer's?
wheelbarrow of turnips.
Yes, that's that seems like a lot of effort for turnips to push a wheelbarrow for. You must be going for miles. I mean,
The other one looks and goes, the taller one goes, we are going a long way, but the other one looks and goes, the taller one goes, we are going a long way, but the very fact is we had no choice in what we were going to be paid. The job was important. The twins were going to be born breached, and we had to do something about it. So we came out this way to make certain they were born correctly, and they were. And we were paid in turnips. And I will walk all the way back to Shatton. The barrel of the town we're from, the village of Shatton.
oh,
It's east of the Deadfall Reach.
Are there more turnips than our donkey can carry?
No. There's not.
Okay. So how much do they want for the turnips? Who's got merchant skill?
are you coming up and asking?
Yeah, I'll walk up. Yeah.
You will
Hello,
go.
Here comes one of my.
esteemed intellectual leader. May I interject?
The tall one raises an eyebrow at that.
Interject.
The tall one raises an eyebrow at that. I thought he was surely joking.
I'm back here.
This is my mallard friend.
Quiverwing at your service.
He poops weird.
Yes. Yeah.
I was wondering
Well,
if
it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Quivering.
I couldn't help but overhear. I was wondering
Well, it's a
if
pleasure to meet you, Mr. Quivering. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Quivering.
I couldn't help but overhear the conundrum that you find yourselves in, having recently labored at a labor, and that you were paid in turnips. We are heading into the forest, and as a result, may be in need of some turnips for stews and such. And if we could find a good price, maybe we'll lighten your load and allow you to leave here with some jingly rather than a wheelbarrow full of turnips.
Jingly is always better than a wheelbarrow of turnips. The other taller one goes, do you want the wheelbarrow as well?
Ooh.
I know it could be useful, but I don't really feel like dragging it around.
We don't have much use of a wheelbarrow either, to be honest.
Very well. We can get you the turnips.
We don't have much use of a wheelbarrow either, to be honest.
Sorry.
We don't have much use of a wheelbarrow either, to be honest.
Very well. We can get you the turnips.
Okay.
How about we say? How about we
So you
say?
say- If you're watching this at all, it's a lot of me just kind of cleaning it up and making sure, sometimes we start saying one thing and then switch. So I'm just trying to clean that up, make it more intelligible. If there are pauses that are too long, I don't really mind them, but Matt hates them, so I try to tighten those up for him. Clean that up a little bit.
How about we say 10 silver or 1 gold?
All right, so I'll just get rid of most of that.
How about we say 10 silver or 1 gold? Oh, the battle of turnips. The battle of turnips.
Hold on. I actually do have. I have the skill. It's not trained, so should I try it? Immersion skill. All right.
I always feel that. Oh, you can use. I mean,
I failed. I rolled a 12. I have it at 6. Bartering, right?
okay, yes, bartering. Mhm.
Yeah.
Just like all the little weird little noises that.
Sure. That sounds reasonable.
Perfectly fine. The simplicity seemed happy, and the taller, stodgy one goes, oh, definitely, you are the brains of the bench.
Thank you.
Sounds reasonable.
The simplicity seemed happy, and the taller, stodgy one goes, oh, definitely, you are the brains of the bench.
Thank you. Thank you for your assistance, Quiverwing.
There's probably several days worth of turnips eating here, right?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
there is.
Can I hear this interaction from up on the hill, or no? Just see it.
You can only just see it.
Okay.
The other two who made your things, you guys can hear most of this conversation
I'm
from
going to
your
come out and just approach him.
Ah!
Hello.
Don't be afraid. It's only a
Don't
dwarf.
be- It's only a dwarf. Oh no,
It's
I'm
not
more
a
than just a
goblin.
dwarf.
He looks, smells kind of like a goblin.
Yeah,
He's
I
not a
do.
goblin.
Don't
I know,
listen to
I know a
dwarf.
goblin when I see one.
Hello,
Hello. Hello.
Baylor Banefire. So,
How are you?
It's your pleasure to meet me. Yes, it's so great.
Well, I suppose it is a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to
someone.
meet you as well.
The other one goes, the pleasure is completely all yours.
Of course, as it should be. Anyway, I was curious. Is there any legends or tales of a armored rider on a horse with glowing eyes coming through these woods?
Well, that plot one just sort of looks.
Glowing eyes coming through these woods.
Well,
Split the difference there.
that.
So I don't know if you noticed, but actually, this is the video from our OBS session right here. So I'm editing the video with the audio. If I'm making too many edits in a row, then it could get kind of choppy. But for the most part, we don't have a lot of moving graphics on a screen, so it shouldn't be too noticeable.
Well, that plot one just sort of looks side to side like she's not really sure. The other one gets quiet and raises herself up to her full height. Not much higher than she is right now, but just sort of stands up straight. It is an omen.
So
A
it has been
dark
seen.
omen.
That's what I understand. So
A
it has been
dark
seen.
omen.
That's what I understand.
A dark omen.
That's what I understand.
Why aren't
No, I was
there
just
ever any light
curious.
omens?
No, they are.
Why aren't
No, I was
there
just
ever any
curious.
light omens?
No, they are light omens, my dear.
I've never heard of one.
But the omen of the Black Rider.
All right, so I could
It is an omen.
So I could do like a little bit mark this for a little dramatic music. make that green. Green, green, green. All right.
A dark omen.
That's what I understand.
So there's like some big gaps here, but with if I have like some sort of impact or Brahm or riser or something, or then that kind of fills those gaps. Pretty light omens.
No, they are light omens, my dear.
I've never heard of one.
But the my dear. My dear.
I've never heard of one.
But the omen of the Black Rider. That did he vanish?
Yes. Allegedly, he did vanish.
And more unlikely it is. It is a dark omen. It is more likely a herald of Sathmog.
Dun dun dun. And maybe right there too. Little impact. I have these really neat impacts that have like a scream in them. That might be a good spot for that there.
To which is that the Falcon goes,
familiar.
surely not. To which is that the Falcon goes,
familiar.
surely not. It cannot be.
Sathmog. Could you enlighten me of this Sathmog?
To which is that the Falcon goes, surely not. It cannot be.
Sathmog. Could you enlighten me of this Sathmog?
Well, fine. Well,
if it's not too much trouble, I mean,
split the difference again.
If it's not too much trouble, I mean, we could make tea. You have teacups here. That would be lovely.
Oh, yes, I could make.
Right. So that he kind of trailed off here. I'm going to just boost up that end there.
Teacups here. That would be lovely.
Oop. No.
Here, that would be lovely.
Oh, yes, I could make tea. She'll sit down and then begin rummaging through her pack to make tea. Well, the taller one.
Very good.
Just sort
Sponging off them. Yes.
Scratches off the side of the nose. Well, what can I tell you? Sathmog was a sort of a demon lord. Let me go back.
So we all say that.
Back. Well, let's. Thousands of years ago. Back. Well, let's. Thousands of years.
So if I go from here all the way to there and join that up, Alt spacebar.
Back. Well, thousands of years ago.
That's to me better.
Back. Well, thousands of years ago. As the crow flies, I suppose, a vile demon named Sathmog came into our world. And he, as all demons, attempted to proclaim himself ruler of a demonic realm on this world of the living. It supposedly lasted for centuries, until, of course, he was overthrown by the young hero named Eladane, who managed to summon an ancient dragon, and was charged with guarding the world against demonic influence. And he finally defeated the demon, banished him somewhere to the outer realms, never to return. Though it is believed that his corrupt worshippers still seek to find a way of bringing him back. And now that you've seen the Dark Knight that is vanished, perhaps now the time has come when he will return. A pity, just as the misty veil has now become open.
Well, let's hope not. Hope not. And I drink my tea with my finger up, like your proper person does. And, I go. I say, I appreciate your input, of course. It's so nice to have civilized tea with someone.
She looks over at her friend Simplicity, who's making the tea and who kens you class. She goes, "Oh, at least some of us are civilized." He goes, "Oh, at least some of us are civilized." Well, so it's just the three of you. Four of you. Five. Four of you. The wolf, the melon, the dwarf, the halfling, and the human.
More or less.
Diversity family tends to be the thing going on.
More or less.
Diversity family tends to be the thing going on here.
Well, there's others about doing things, set to tasks, more or less. Well, there's others about doing things, set to tasks, how it goes.
Her dog goes bouncing off over the hill.
That's a lovely dog, by the way. What breed is that? Those eyes are so unique.
Contentious. That's what breed it is.
Contentious. And the name?
Oh. She's oh. The other one goes Gwen. Gwenny.
Gwen. Come here, Gwen. Does Gwen come back or keep going?
Just keeps going.
Those dogs.
Well, it's a lovely breed of dog, this contemptuous dog you have.
Well, safe jet. Where are you headed again?
Oh,
I already
here,
told him
there.
into the forest.
Into the woods. We are adventurous seeking adventure. So
So
wherever it takes us, the road.
Gold.
Well, may you find fortune as opposed to death.
Oh, that is always the hope. I thank you.
Be
and if
aware,
it is death, it's someone
the
else's.
forest is no place for the faint in heart. There are dark shadows that grow under the boughs of that forest. Even the trees do not necessarily like the kind that walk.
We'll have to keep that in mind. I appreciate your time. Thank you for this lovely tea.
Tea is you can take.
Thank you for this lovely tea.
Tea is and did you can take some extra honey with you in case you have.
Of course.
Beets can be turnips can be extremely bitter.
It'll add to my essence. Thank you.
So where did the dog run off to? So where did the dog run off to?
Right to you.
Right towards you. I mean, you were hiding. You were just.
Stop.
Comes
Pisses
up,
on your
looks at
leg.
you.
Then I will try and make it a companion.
Oh no! You're gonna steal the people's
shit.
dog.
Stealing a witch's dog.
Oh my God! The evil eyes upon us. I see you, woman.
I see you, woman. I see what you try to do.
Let's see.
I see you, woman. I see you, woman. I see what you try to do. So,
Put a hex upon you.
you're going to try to make it your companion.
Yeah, I'm gonna get just rid of that. Doesn't sound great.
Woman.
I see what you try to do. So,
Put a hex upon you.
you're going to try to make it your companion. companion.
On you.
You're going to try to make it your companion.
Yes.
Beast companion?
It's literally just
You tell it looks pretty.
Companion.
yes.
Beast companion?
It's literally just
You tell it looks pretty. You buy it a drink. What do you do?
So it says you activate this ability to turn an animal, not a monster, into your companion. This takes a stretch of time. You can only have one animal companion at a time. The GM decides which animals are nearby. See the list. The animal follows you as long as you remain in its natural environment, and it can scout for you at no additional willpower cost.
Okay.
For 3 additional willpower, you can command the animal to attack an enemy.
So you...
Here, puppy. Come here, puppy. Now, do I recognize the dog, like, by its unusual eyes or build?
By its unusual eyes and its demeanor, you don't think it's a regular dog.
Presumably not. Which is why I want it. Presumably not. Which is why I want it.
So gathering your connection with nature, you reach out and try and bind it to you.
Does it seem friendly and receptive?
Its eyes go back. And bind it to you.
Does it seem friendly and receptive?
Its eyes go back. Its eyes turn to slits. And its tail goes under. It growls.
I just
And
see
then they
that.
pop up and then like starts wagging his tail and dashes towards you and licks your face if you can get to it or your hands. And then runs down the hill away from you.
Right then. Well, I guess this is up. So I stand up from the grass and start walking towards the rest of the party. Quite a friendly pup you've got there.
Yeah. That's all Tolman says. That's all Tolman says. She's only friendly when it suits her needs.
Maybe she's pot cat.
She's definitely part bitch. Needs.
Maybe she's pot cat.
She's definitely part bitch.
Maybe she's pot cat.
She's definitely part bitch. Definitely part bitch.
So seeing everyone else there, you know, Dane will come down up there. Like, are you all gonna have tea without me? I mean,
Oh, I figured
I'm
Dane
not
would.
having
Oh, there's
tea.
more. Okay, yes, she'll sit there and I mean, no one was. I mean, I guess the dwarf wasn't really paying attention to what she was doing, as far as the pot since he got interested. But yeah, she does have pot since he got interested. But yeah, she does as far as the pot since he.
So there's that little weird sound again.
As far as the pot since he got interested. But yeah, she does have a pot that seems to be full of pouring warm. Does have a pot.
I don't know what that is.
That seems to be full of pouring. Does have a pot that seems to be full of pouring warm tea in various teacups that she hands out to anyone who wants one.
Oh, none for me, thank you.
Very well.
Brown
And
water.
for you?
oh
I
yes,
have a bowl, if that helps.
Ooh, I mean, brown
And
water.
for you?
oh
I
yes,
have a bowl, if that helps.
Ooh, I mean, you're speaking my language, but I still don't want tea.
Okay, very well.
sure, I'll have a cup of tea.
Here you go, my dear.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind.
I'm just
And
love
if
the
you ever-
turnips.
If you ever find yourself in Chatham,
I'm just
and
love
if
the
you ever-
turnips.
if you ever find yourself in Chatham, just come and look us up. It's just, I'm Simplicity, and that's Perpetua, and that's Guinevere. I mean, well, whatever, Gwynny.
And this
And that's Guinevere. I mean, well, whatever, Gwynny.
And this Chatham,
She
far
probably
is,
won't look like that.
this Chatham, far is it?
Yes. Yes, it's pretty. I mean, it's. Yes.
To the
it's
east,
far.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes.
To the
it's
east,
far.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excellent.
And
I'm south.
and they
Yes.
often send to that distance. They for assistance in these parts, do they?
No. If you know who to call. Yes.
Always
If you
call the
don't,
best. Absolutely.
You always call the best. The sisters will come.
What what do you do, if I may ask? Besides make lovely tea.
Help with childbirth.
Oh,
Mind a business. Those kind of things. Mind a business. Those kind of things. Unless,
Wisdom.
of course, it requires our business to be knowing what you're doing.
oh
Is
so
everyone?
you're women with wisdom.
Well,
Well,
obviously.
and the tall one goes, some of us.
Oh, that's a
Well,
Well,
obviously.
and the tall one goes, some of us.
that's a respected age-old profession.
But being a woman and old, knowing more than stupid men, that's not really a profession. It's just kind of living.
Hardly a challenge.
Exactly. But we appreciate your admiration nonetheless.
So I'm gonna make an annotation on my map of where they say this town is.
And the tall one goes, some of us. About it.
Oh,
Says
so
everyone.
you're women with wisdom.
What is that?
About it. Says everyone. About it.
Oh, so you're
To be knowing what you're doing, and in which case, we're all about it.
oh, so you're women with wisdom.
Well,
Well,
obviously.
Where they say this town is.
admiration nonetheless.
So I'm gonna make an.
All right, maybe might be an outtake. So I'm gonna mark that. Bink. Oop. Actually, let me get rid of this here. Okay.
Well,
Well,
obviously.
and the tall one.
Put a new marker there, and I am gonna stop. So if you check in, and you listen, and you learned anything, or you're curious about anything, drop a comment. I'm gonna sign off for now. Been at this for a while. My ears are getting tired, so.